Bienvenida a Wells Fargo. ¿En qué puedo ayudarte?
Salí a hacer ejercicio y olvidé mi tarjeta de débito. ¿Cómo puedo retirar efectivo?
Mediante tu teléfono solicitas un código de acceso por única vez en tu app de Wells Fargo.
O sea que si salgo en bicicleta o a correr y olvido mi tarjeta, puedo retirar dinero con mi teléfono. Mucho mejor. Ahora voy a ir un poquito más liviana.
Un poquitito.
Un poquititito.
Wells Fargo, siempre mejorando. Descarga tu app en español hoy mismo. Wells Fargo Bank N.A. miembro FDIC.
Feed me more. Welcome to Conversation with the Big Guy. I am the Big Guy Ryback, and I'm sitting here with the one, sober, Pat Buck.
Feels good to be back, and it feels good to be sober.
Looking good.
I feel all right. I know how. I know my limits. First of all, yes, my name is Pat Buck, and I'm one of the co-hosts here. And I guess it feels good to. I can actually listen to this episode because.
So there's not going to be a little message before this
No.
podcast goes up next week.
I blame you for the. Let's just cut through the red tape. I know people complain. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that. This is our third, fourth,
Yeah,
time, our fourth session recording, and we like to kick a few back. And I gave the warning last show, but I couldn't even listen to the last show.
I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed every second of it. And I think it's. Like we said at the beginning, this is two guys sitting down like we did on Voxer talking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I look forward to this, and we talked
too.
about this. And I don't sit at home and drink every night.
Sure.
So this is now, like I told you, I'm like, I want to save red wine for
this.
Okay. And I know we got the beers and stuff because, and obviously it gets to a point where it's not like, and I think if
Like
both of us
we're not having a podcast just to get drunk.
No. But I think it definitely enhances our abilities to sit here and record multiple sessions.
Yeah,
and I get more excited as we go on because I get
Sure.
I can 70% English. I don't know if you saw my Ancestry.com thing that I posted, and 10% Irish, 7% Italian, and 7% West European. But I can put down some alcohol. So,
well, I thought I could too, and
there's definitely a weight difference though between the two of us,
and a mindset, because last time, dude, when we recorded this stuff, and we'll talk about some stuff coming up, but like sat down and I was like, okay, let's it's a day before, it was the day before your first independent wrestling match.
Yeah.
And we were in a tag match the following night, and I have two shows to run. I'm
you're not only wrestling, you're promoting.
I'm
too.
the HNIC, so I
Yeah.
got to be on my A game, and the head nobody in charge. So
just reminded me of Shad Gaspard at OVW with Paul Heyman for that brief run with it. That yeah. Sorry,
Then,
anyone knowing what? Yeah.
So I didn't. Normally, I'm conscious of what I drink. If I go out or if I go to dinner, I can sit back and go, you know what, Pat? You had a little bit. Start calming down. We're so into recording and so into the episodes, I didn't fucking realize.
Well, we
man.
know too when we get in here, we have to do 4 or we have to do 5 or you know what I mean. We know our number that we have to get, and we have our content kind of, of what we want to get across, what the main points are. But we know we have to come in here. We have to do 4 because we're not going to get together until this date, and so I mean, it kind of.
And the other ones, like I got drunk, but like. Wasn't that bad. This one was bad, dude.
No, I honestly thought you were fine. To me, I told you earlier, when I hear you like sighing when like as I'm going to talk.
If it's questions I think are boring, I'm like, you fucking. I love the fans, and I love the fact that they call themselves fucking marks sometimes.
I want good fans or great fans.
But I don't want to hear
bad
about
fans or fucking marks.
I don't want. What's your greatest match? I don't want to fucking hear any of that shit. I just want to talk about like fun stuff. And let's be honest, like I'll whatever. I had to edit the last podcast because apparently I got so drunk I'm yelling fucking awful things from the bathroom.
Oh yeah, that
probably would ruin. Let alone I let the bad stuff in with me slurring and like talking like an asshole. But I was yelling horrible shit.
Yeah.
So,
like Trump for president, things like that. I thought I heard you say a few times.
Well,
I'm kidding.
we were going to talk about. I don't know if you want to.
No, we don't have to get into that yet. I mean,
you know.
I'm just busting your balls. I thought you were fine though on everything, and like I said, I think if both of us were like sitting here and belligerent, drunk, and like not making any sense whatsoever, then. You know, even then, I think I would probably find that highly entertaining. But
yeah, and I'm happy too. It landed us a sponsor with Angry Orchard or Angry Orchard.
Angry Orchard, yeah,
yeah. Which,
how many is that? Our third sponsor now?
I don't know. They just kind of we haven't gotten paid yet. But they keep going. Hey, read this. This company wants to do this. I'm like, bring them on.
About to see me on the corner in Vegas in my singlet with the "Feed Me More" sign, but with a little jar. I'm in a squeaky chair, I've noticed.
Oh, no.
And I don't know if you can hear, but you were already getting on me about I move a lot, and I told you I have me and Chris Farley have similar souls. I just have a little bit different body type, and I'm always like the guy like.
That's exactly it. You can hear it, and like you try to ignore it, and sometimes you can't hear it on like when I listen to my car, I can't hear it. But when I listen when I work out, you just hear you dancing around with the microphone, just up and down, up and down, up and down. And I haven't figured that out, so people are just going to get used to it.
It drives me crazy. When I cough to get my voice, and because my voice has been from Scream and Feed Me More once a week or twice a week, it hasn't got conditioned to do it. When you're on the road, you get used to doing it all the time.
Okay.
And my voice, but like it's still like I'll do it. You know, once or twice a week, and then during the week my voice is coming back, and then but I like have to cough to kind of that drives me crazy when I hear that back.
There's been not so nice reviews. Most of the reviews are positive, but of course
great.
We're very I'm at least self-deprecating or like hate myself, and I find the one bad one where they said you're constantly clearing snot from your nose. And
for you?
For you.
Oh yeah.
They're just like
I'm just not doing that. I was just caught.
And with me slurring, so but overall things have been good.
That's your biggest fucking gripe.
I know. There's a couple fucking reviews. I don't know.
God damn it, you're human. Both of you. You have these human things that you do during the show. Stop it. Like, you don't have to listen.
Yeah, I know. It's just like we're just going into this. We'll figure out something. I mean, we have a big weekend coming up. We had a show that canceled. That kind of sucked. But tomorrow should be...
Tomorrow's your big show, though.
Tomorrow's a real big show. Well, it's you and me and the Broken Hearties versus...
I'm excited about that.
I am, too. We're right down the road. We're in Rahway, New Jersey. And I'll plug WrestleProOnline.com, even though this episode will air a couple days after. But
airs this Monday.
I'm running shows. I had 27 events lined up for 2017. And I was very depressed that I canceled my first show on Saturday.
You were saying that. I don't know. I told you, I go, that's no big deal. I think it wasn't a good situation. It was 20 minutes down the road from where we're running today. For tomorrow, I should say. And those things happen, so it's not nothing to...
Maybe I'll get into... You know, people are familiar with you and may not be that familiar with me, but like since I failed at obtaining a WWE contract, I kind of... when I moved back home, I decided to kind of start my own thing and start my own promotion and start doing wrestling shows with all the knowledge I had and all the good experience. I'm like, let me try something out. And it kind of turned into a booming business. And I now am, you know, I ran Pro Wrestling Syndicate for, 4 years, and I'm no longer an owner there, although I wish them well in their future endeavors. And then I started WrestlePro. So I started doing all that stuff and promoting shows. And I know a lot of people listen to this, and they obviously love wrestling, and they love indie wrestling, or they love mainstream wrestling, whatever the fuck that you guys love. We all love wrestling. So, but part of my thing is that as a promoter, I learned that we were talking about this before, it's really difficult to make money in pro wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
And I found for myself, it's like, what do you want to do when you're a promoter? You can either do one or two. You got to build. You basically have to rent a building. You get your equipment, whether you rent it or you own it. Luckily, over the years, I've learned to own my shit. You put on a show. You try to book talent, draw people, and then I realized that it's very scary going. And trying to build up one town is scary enough, but trying to do new towns when you don't have a TV deal, when you don't have major exposure, when it's all your own money, it's frightening, dude.
Yeah.
Like, picture doing that. Picture, like, how much a lot of people listening, they go to independent shows, or maybe they do, maybe they don't. But, like, WWE has that luxury of having television. And
TV fuels their live events and stuff.
That's the whole name of the game.
And they got people with the marketing and running the radio ads multiple times over and over and over again, and it's just repetitions. And sometimes with the independent shows, you don't have that luxury.
No.
It's not that people don't turn out, but a lot of people don't know about it.
That's the biggest thing. And
it's the hardest thing. That's what I always said. Like, you just got to, it's hard because you're not dealing with the same things that, a bigger company like WWE has.
And that's the biggest thing. I think the biggest gripe with independent wrestling is not that they're failures. It's just that even now, and there's posters all over this town, online ads, you name it. But I dare to say half, 3/4 of my area still doesn't know. I have to aggressively advertise to the city. That's everything. But what I was saying is, like, tomorrow, I've built up this show called WrestlePro, which I think a lot of indie fans will know about my company. And
Mark for Life definitely knows.
Oh, Mark for Life is all in. He was mad that you became part. Is Mark for Life a fan of Ryback, or does he hate Ryback?
No, he likes Ryback, but
he'll
still shit talk him, though, but he loves him, yeah.
Gotcha.
Buys everything from feedmemore.com from him, but he likes to shit talk him occasionally.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, just an angry Mark.
But basically, I started one of the biggest independents that used to be around in like the 90s was Jersey All Pro Wrestling. And they kind of went away for a bit, and I kind of picked up where they left off like 4 years later and ran in their building and kind of built up, so I'm very blessed, and, I give them a nod, but then they stopped running there, and I found a really good wrestling that I built my school out of that. Long story short, I run in Rahway, New Jersey, which is a weird place to run.
A lot of people don't know where Rahway is, but it's right outside of Newark, right?
It's right up. Well, the reason why my building's successful is because it's one of the only buildings within the metropolitan area, from New York to like Philly even, where you can get off the train. It's a 1-minute walk, and it could fit 2,000 people.
Oh, wow.
And even though it's kind of expensive, it's still relatively affordable. So that's why it's a very good wrestling, and they're at least, they acknowledge pro wrestling. They're cool with it. So, but that's my building. I pay there. I've built it up. Now, running outside of there, and I've done it before, it's fucking scary because I don't know the area. I don't know the marketing. I don't know this. I don't know that. And I realize I can't do it anymore. But what I can do is I sell shows.
Yeah.
And that's stuff you've been a part of, and stuff that a lot of the guys I bring in, where basically I go, okay, you guys know your building, you guys know your venue, whether it be a concert hall, whether it be a small arena, or whether it be a high school or Knights of Columbus. I basically present them packages, and if people want to, you can email. They
pay you an amount for whatever show they want to run.
Yeah, and I go, this is what you can get for this price. This is what you can get for this price. You guys keep all the ticket sales, keep all the concessions. I will provide the equipment, the wrestlers, the show, and we will kick ass. And everyone that buys a show from me always does 3 to 4 repeat shows. Like, that's my business model.
And they make their money back by selling tickets through concessions, et cetera, et cetera.
If they have alcohol, that's great. If they have food, that's great. If they have ticket sales, that's great. And like,
if they were smart, they would definitely have alcohol.
Some places, like tomorrow night, like, even though it's a city building, they don't allow it. You never know, man. It's crazy. Some people, though,
it creates for a much more electric wrestling crowd usually, especially because then you get the older audience too, a little bit. Like, the kids that want to,
even if they hate wrestling, at least I can drink a beer.
And it's fun to them. They'll make, even if they're there to make fun of it, they're there like making noise and
like the building you wrestled Moff in. They're not supposed to sell beer, but they're a Catholic church. They don't give a shit.
Yeah,
everyone was drunk.
That was great.
So.
Probably made it much more enjoyable.
That was fun, man. You can check that out online, and I'm going to stream the event tomorrow, which is going to be cool.
I need to get those on my website on feedmemore.com.
Yeah. So basically, what we're trying to say is, you're in town, and I felt like a failure because I have this sold show, and I sold it to a place in Newark, New Jersey, and Newark's a very ethnic area. It's one of the most dangerous cities in America. Legit. I think it's on like the top 20. And a Sunday show is a little scary because most people that
Plus
run
Survivor Series, by the way, is this Sunday. Which when you told, I was thinking we were doing Friday, Saturday.
Really?
And then when I saw that it was Saturday, Sunday, I'm like, oh.
So there's that.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, when I run Sunday shows...
How can I be in 2 places at one time?
I know, man. You got that fucking...
Big match with Brock.
Good luck to you. I heard you pulled your shoulder on Monday throwing a security guard. Love you in the video game, too, man. Must have been a killer payday. You look good for 55.
Thank you.
So I sold this show. And also Sunday shows, when I run Sunday events, they're normally in the afternoon because... Yeah. This one, they're like, no, we're going to do it at night. I'm like, who the fuck's going to go to a wrestling show at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night?
I was hoping it was in the afternoon so that we can come back and watch on my free WWE Network subscription that they still have not fucking canceled. God, cancel it. I want them to.
You want them to?
They won't.
Huh.
God damn it. I know. Kid has balls. He'll come back. No, I won't.
So I sold the show, and ticket sales were not that good. Apparently, they don't care about you in Newark. Tomorrow, I'm kidding. No, like
I don't even think we advertised it. Was I even?
I advertised it. You're on it, but but here's the thing.
I was really defeated when you told me. You've told me multiple times. You go, yeah, the Sunday show. I don't think it's going to be good. And I'm just thinking, well, why are we doing the Sunday? This was like a month ago. You told me that, and I was like, geez.
Well, actually, let me clear that up because tomorrow ticket sales, like I'm jumping for joy. Like they're fucking great. Tomorrow's
a great show.
Yeah, I do think.
Thanks to the Hardys.
No, I think if we get 1,500 people, great. If we get 1,000 people, great. Like and like pre-sales, very very strong. And that's the problem is that I'm running in Rahway and Newark's only 20 minutes away. Yeah. So fans go, okay.
It was less than 20 minutes from the airport here. So.
Yeah. So they're like, which one do I go to? Okay, I'll go to the Saturday one. And the reason why. I told the building, I said, look, I'm running a show here. Are you sure you want to do it the day after mine on a Sunday? And they're like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm like, well, I'm like, okay. Tell me about your group. They're like, don't worry, we're gonna have our people here.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be your fans. We have our fans here. We're gonna do a lot of ticket sales. It's gonna be great. Don't worry about a thing, and we will have your money. Whatever. So I checked in about a month ago. I was like, guys, the sales aren't that good. My show's doing very strong. Why don't we just postpone it? Why don't we just do it another time? No. The show must go on. Okay, cool. I'll listen to them.
Did the guy, did you mention too, look kind of like an R-Truth type, like, his,
yes.
The character, like you said, when he was like all dressed up and like.
He's very little Jimmy-ish. He was very like.
That's funny.
He was. Well, I didn't know this too because we were going through text and he was very polite.
Yeah.
But he's a promoter too. I'll get to this too, which is pretty funny. So, I check in a couple weeks later this week, and I was like, "Hey man, ticket sales are not good. How many ticket sales do you have on your end?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Ticket sales are just not strong. Are you sure?" Like what? He's like, well, we don't really have any tickets sold, but I'm putting $2,000 in radio ads this week, and it's going to be bumping. And I go, oh, fuck. I'm like, all right.
I love that he used the word bumping.
Yeah, sure. So I go, here's the deal, though. When I got to protect myself. I'm like, you have to come meet me and give me the whole bill was actually due this week. That's what it says in the contract. Yeah. But I was like, just give me half the money, and we'll work this out.
That's being generous, too.
I know.
Yeah.
But a lot of these places, they don't think, they're not organized. And if I have a good feeling for it and I have pride in my product, I'm like, we're going to do well. He shows up, he gives me this big song and dance, and he doesn't have any money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. So I tell him, like, whatever. He's like, I'll give you your money tomorrow. And I'm like, look, man, I kind of say yeah, but I'm like, I'm going to cancel the show anyway. So he leaves.
Right?
But here's the thing. I've never canceled a show in 5 years. I ran a show during Hurricane Sandy with no power on 2 generators. I've never canceled. I ran a show in a blizzard. I've never canceled. So I was really fucking with me. So I said, what could I do? Everyone that was booked on that Sunday show, I actually moved them. They're actually on tomorrow, which is cool.
Yeah. So you took care of everything.
Took care of everybody. Yeah. JTG, Crowbar, all these people, Deanna Perrazzo. Everyone's there. And then I Google this motherfucker, and I find out he has a prison record. And I'm like, I felt like an idiot because I'm like, why should I be Googling someone that I'm doing business with? But like, I didn't even think about that.
He's a real life bad Santa, kind of, right?
Yeah, like he
runs this once a year kind of deal. I feel like to kind of
he's been doing things
the next year.
Concerts. He had some issue with a concert. He had some like he hijacked some truck that had 300 guns on it in 1995. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this could have been really bad.
Yeah.
We could have had a show where it was like, and the match was supposed to be you versus Cabana.
Yeah.
In a very ethnic crowd.
Which would have been with like 3 people watching.
With me.
That would have found its way on the dirt sheets like all the other things.
Yes.
By the way, how great. Bray would text me a headline. So like it says Ryback in love with Bray's wife selling, and I'm just like, the things that these people will put on their things, and we just sit there and laugh at it like that. And like I think it's important to tell all people, these people running like a lot of these wrestling websites and whatnot are not real journalists. They have no real formal education in any field of journalism or anything of that matter, and they're just either kids or people just sitting there coming up with whatever they want to talk about for the most part. So not to put too much stock when what you read online, unless it's from a trusted source.
And even those get slurred. And they're looking for the quick bite, the quick the clickbait things, what's this little thing? But it's like if someone comes along and actually has integrity and can actually maybe over time build up a reputation, and
report facts,
report facts,
honest things, and
or the context in which it's been explained.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the world we live in.
It is.
So we only have one show this weekend. Unfortunately, we will not be running in Newark, New Jersey. And I felt bad, but then when I told you, I was like, "Look, man, I was
thrilled."
You're like, "Good, I don't want to wrestle on Sunday. Like, I need a day off. Like,
I want to watch the my free WWE network for one more Sunday before they cancel it. Hopefully,
so it'll all work out. So you got a big signing tomorrow, and then we got the show, and then we're I don't know what else you got going on.
We got
new.
Well, I got in. I had that sweet red eye last night. And got in, slept a little today. We got a workout, got all stocked up for everything. Had a nice little conversation with everybody at Muscle Maker Grill.
I think you have to give a little shout out because
to the New York Sports Club, right?
I felt really bad because in my drunken stupor, this was last episode. I don't remember this. I think we kind of attacked my gym.
I don't think we did at all.
Okay, we didn't, but we were just like,
because I was saying no one's entitled to free workouts.
Yeah,
but I think we thought that I was going to get in. Because on this one, because the guy put over the Busted Open radio interview, and then $15. Because usually it usually doesn't go that way.
But after that episode, I went back a week this week. Excuse me. I went back like 2 weeks ago before that episode aired, and the guy at the gym was like, "Hey man, I love the podcast, and I'm coming to the show." And I went, "Oh fuck, I think we talked about you on the podcast." Like, I wouldn't say anything bad,
no,
but it was still like we could tell. Long story short, you got in for free today.
Yeah.
So shout out to the New York
Sports Club. Thank you very much. We had a great workout today, despite the picture that Buck took of me sitting down, putting out the tweet probably about him.
Perusing.
That's something I've noticed with phones. By the way, I had to get I just got my phone. I got the 6S like 2 or 3 months ago because my other one, the iPhone 5, just quit working on me. For no reason, just literally went blank, which I'm convinced it was Apple just sent a thing to he's had this for 2 years, he needs to go get a new phone.
Buy a new phone,
yeah.
You fucker.
Because I'll use my phone until it stops. I don't just go out and get the new phone to go out and get the new phone. I've never been like that. But I told you at the gym, and I was doing the butt blaster machine. I do all my heavy stuff at home, my squats and deadlifts and all that. And
you said it very subtle though. You sent me a Vox. You're like, dude. Like, I'm on my iPad right now, and I broke my phone in the ass blaster, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "What'd you say?"
If you're not familiar with what the ass blaster is, it's the machine at the gym where they call it the butt blaster, where it's like kickbacks, like a donkey kick, where you put your feet in there, and I've always considered. I look at it like this, like. Bodybuilders and everybody can do it, and there's different exercises to target the glutes. But I look at nobody wants to look at a guy with a dumpy ass wrestle. Like nobody. Even what's worse than watching two men pretend to fight than watching two men pretend to fight with dumpy asses?
Or what's worse? You know what's
or
really
like
bad?
A female with a dumpy ass. Nobody wants to see that shit.
I think what's worse than that is a completely flat ass. Even it makes your
Yoshitatsu was always known to have the flat ass.
Really?
Yeah. Which was actually funny. There was a period up there where they made Yoshitatsu judge everybody's ass because he had no. Ted DiBiase and Cody were behind this, I believe, in which Ted and Cody actually scored the highest, I believe. Yoshi thought they had the best asses in the world. It was highly disturbing.
Here's the headline.
Yeah.
Ryback says Yoshi has a flat ass. Click here.
And people literally would have to pull down in their pants and show them Yoshi their ass, all in good fun. And Yoshi was legitimately would judge the men's asses in the locker room. And this went on for quite a while. And I remember people getting upset at some of their scores and nobody wants to be told no. So I always thought that was just really entertaining. But anyways, I set my phone down in the machine, and on a spot I normally never set it, and I have my meditation on, and I do 2 reps, and I see the machine. This is like a body rock machine that the machine tilts with you, and the mechanisms on it kind of move back and forth as you're, and the part I set it on was a part that went under, and it literally got crunched by whatever the weight I had on it plus the weight of me on the machine.
Jesus
and
Christ.
I did 2 reps, and I go, oh no, and I just stopped, and I was afraid to pull, like, because I could only see half of my phone. Half the phone was fine. I pull it out, and the top half just completely crushed, like just smashed. But my meditation was still going, but I couldn't get the phone to do anything.
So you listen to meditation while you work out?
Yeah, for the first hour.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I always told you when people, I like if I just have regular music on, I'm more than accepting, like receptive when people talk to me.
Okay.
But like if I have meditation on, so then when someone comes up and tries to talk, I have to then
get out of it.
And it loses your track of thought, and it like, not that it just, it's not what it, you don't want to disrupt it. And so there's like sometimes where I'll just leave the headphones on and I just say, not right now, no thank you.
So what else do you listen to while you work out? You said between meditation or music, you go back and forth?
I do the meditation for an hour, and then I have like just all my regular soundtracks. I have
Batista's theme song.
Batista's theme song, I Walk Alone, just on repeat. Did I ever... Supposedly there's a story going around. This will probably make another headline. And like I like Kevin Owens, but there was a thing. I loved wrestling music when I was a kid, and like I think we all did.
I still listen to wrestling music. I'm not
there's
afraid
some
to say that.
but like Kevin Owens fell asleep, I guess, on one of the buses on one of the European tours a couple of years ago, and they heard he had all the wrestling music playing and stuff, and like. But like I think anybody that gets into wrestling likes wrestling music, and I will have different guys' songs on my phone just to pop them, like Axel, and I'll just like do something with a video with his like theme song playing in the background and like just to send to him. But
I'm completely guilty of that. It'll be on I'll have regular music, rock, gangster rap, and WWE Mark tunes. I totally.
I used to have Hunter's Motorhead on that, and I had to delete it after a while.
I have.
I did, legitimately.
I think I had one on today. I had the 1999, his older version, whatever it is.
Oh,
My
that
Time.
dun, 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 dun,
That was
dun, dun, the.
How many fucking theme songs has he had?
Because that eventually went over to Stephanie afterwards. She used it for a while.
Okay.
And like I loved that one. I thought that one was great. I listened to everything. That's why I put videos on Snapchat. Like sometimes of the Titanic love like song play. Like I literally listen to everything from Pantera to the to Celine Dion, and like I got Britney on there. I love Drowning Pool.
Really?
That song Tearaway, still to this day the best WrestleMania was, I believe it was the one where Scott Hall fought Stone Cold.
Okay.
Was it 19 where they had the Tearaway song by Drowning Pool was the theme song?
I don't know that song, but
so I love it when they use badass songs for the pay-per-views and stuff. And I've gotten quite a few songs that I like to listen to, like from bands I never heard of, and then they'll put them on there and stuff. And there was a song by Dragons called Money. I forget, it's not Dragons, it's something I Fight Dragons, but
Imagine Dragons?
Imagine Dragons,
Is
sorry.
Yeah.
Their song Money, and it was used for one Money in the Bank pay-per-view when we were Nexus.
Okay.
And it was so cool, and I love that song.
They have a lot of good if it is Imagine Dragons, they had another one too that was Monster, that was made for the Daniel Bryan video.
Okay.
The editing team put together this.
It has to be the same people. And it but then they switched to the Money song for Donald Trump. I remember, and like I hated that song. I was like, money, money, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that sucks. But somebody in the truck liked it, so.
Nah.
But not much else. So the supplements I was talking to you about.
Sure.
Feed Me More Nutrition. This is, the ultimate goal with this was, when I created this, was to go to distribution, worldwide distribution.
Well, even before you even say that, put your post WWE.
Yeah.
We've been talking about stuff. We've kind of been journaling in a loose sort of way what kind of like you've been up to after, and you're doing the whole wrestling thing, and you've mentioned it before, and people have left reviews, he just talks about a supplement, but like I think people kind of need to, has this been done before? Like the stuff that you're doing in this way, the whole supplement thing?
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of, or
because anybody. You're legit. You created this. Like it's not like you're associating yourself with a brand. You literally invented whatever your
everything, all the formulas that I've come up with, because this is all stuff that I have used over the years, and I purposely, I don't think we've talked about it all that much. I plugged it here and there, but like now we're getting close because December is the time, and it's something like I've always said, and like with our lives, you just got to find what you're passionate about.
Yes,
and like I always said, like I was always passionate about wrestling, and I got into it, and then there's other aspects of the wrestling lifestyle I'm not passionate about.
Sure.
And thus that's why I'm still wrestling, but I kind of eliminated some of the bullshit that comes along with it that I didn't have control over up there.
And you could also do more than one thing.
Yeah, and everyone, like, you're allowed, you don't just have to be labeled as one thing for the rest of your life, and like that's what I want to be good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
And like I love, and I told you I go and do boxing and Muay Thai and start up the jiu-jitsu, and like why can't I just do whatever the hell I want to do and like have fun and like
I laugh because we mentioned the Wizard on past episodes, and he refers to Muay Thai as MooeyTie.
Yo, yeah.
And then occasionally, instead of full Nelsons, he would ask for a MooeyTie knee, and you'd have to knee him.
Wait, you never told me how are you going to tell this story and then leave that out?
I just every time I hear
is this kind of like the big guy Muay Thai knee in the corner that the running
kind of, it's just like a work knee. He'd you just kind of clench.
Wait, so it was a work, it wasn't even a real knee.
If you give him a real knee, he's going to die, but give him a
so but like would you lay it in a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you're hitting it with your thigh then, kind of like you would.
I've punched him full force before.
Really?
Did I ever tell you the bowling alley story?
No, you've left out. Obviously, I feel
sorry
like
from bouncing around from nutrition back to the Wizard.
No, well, this is what we do.
Okay, dude. So this was crazy. So after me and Matthews put Wizard in a full Nelson, we would go. Then we go to dinner, and then one time
you guys would always have the activities and then go have kind of a
real night.
Yeah.
So, and at the time, I'm dating my ex-girlfriend at the time. And
makes me feel good that you were dating a woman during this period.
Which made it normal.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, we're going to the Wizard's house. Okay, cool.
Yeah, totally.
And my brother's there too, and Matthews is there. So we lock this old man, and he gives us our funds, and he goes, "Do you guys want to go bowling?" And we're like, "Yeah, let's go bowling." And this was at a time where he was actually more functional, and now he's he's falling apart.
He's wasted away.
He's had amputations. I don't know if you know.
Wait, no, I didn't know that.
That's another story. So anyway,
Jesus,
yeah, there's a lot of stuff, man. Like the hardcore, the fans that know me beforehand are like, man, tell him more about.
Was
the
it one of his arms by chance?
No. Long story short, we found out he was a diabetic.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought it would have been from nerve damage of some sort to the neck.
Short story to go back to the bowling alley story. Me and Matthews came over, and actually Shelly Martinez was there when they were an item.
Shelly, great girl.
Yeah, and then so we knock on Wizard's door.
Belly.
He was in his underwear when he answered the door, and his foot.
Whitey tighties, I imagine.
Yes, and his foot was. It looked like something from The Walking Dead, and we're like, "What the fuck is that?"
Oh no!
It was like 3 times the size, and he's like, "It's nothing." It's because he's a liar. He's like, "I'm fine," and there's blood all over the carpet, and we're like, what the fuck is going on with you? And then we look on his legs, and for about a year or so, we noticed he had a scab on his leg that never healed.
Yeah.
And he always had a different story, like, oh, I fell, or it's just a cut, or my cat scratched me. They were diabetic ulcers. We never knew this.
Jeez.
So he'd wear shorts, and he'd be walking funny. We never knew why. And then we saw his foot, and then
I would assume I knew why if...
Then we took him we basically saved his life, brought him to the hospital, and he had his toes amputated. Like his big toe and his little toe.
Oh, my God.
You're going to meet him. He will be there tomorrow, though. Yes.
Wait, he's coming
He will
tomorrow.
be there tomorrow. Yes.
Can we do... Is it an 8-man tag we're doing tomorrow?
Yes.
Or is there any way to do a 4-way headlocks routine?
A 4-way Nelson spot?
Yeah.
I'm sure we could do something.
And
like
work
that.
to all 4 sides, but ending on Bob's side. And then legit all 4 of us at the same time. Oh, wow.
Dude, I wrestled
my night.
last week. I wrestled for Jersey All Pro, and granted, I know a lot of my students were in the crowd too. But a loud "Oh wow" chant broke out.
I told you that because I don't check Facebook all that often, and I clicked on it, and that came up. It said live with you in the ring, and I thought it was just an old thing. I didn't know you were wrestling that night, but I was like, oh, I haven't talked to him in a couple hours. And sure enough, and I stopped watching it. I wish I would have watched, but I saw the "Oh wow" chants go down live.
Literally, it's clap, clap, oh wow, and the whole like, it's great. Okay, so back to the bowling alley story.
Yeah.
So we go bowling, and we have our own alley, and we're just, you know, he's bowling, we're bowling, just having fun. And it's like one of those, you ever go to Rock a Bowl where they play like loud music? It's like there's like black
I love
lights.
bowling.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
Got
awesome.
my own ball, my own shoes.
That's right. You told me about
Got
this.
2 balls.
that's and we're both
Bowling
Kingpin
balls.
fan. It's one of my favorite movies.
Kingpin is to this day still
my top 5.
Yeah.
Comedies in my top 2.
Wedding Crashers. That I love all those Step Brothers. I think it's
So we're also there. We're also some of the older people there. It's very teenage, like maybe like young, maybe like late teens. And at the time, I'm like 20, probably like 28, 27.
Bowling was the popular thing in high school. I remember.
Yeah. So like it's a youthful group, and we're bowling with what looks like our fucking grandfather.
Yes.
You know, but people are like, it's socially acceptable. We're just bowling with our old man.
Did you ever ask for a Nelson?
Here we go.
Oh,
so
whoa.
I bowl, and I'm watching my brother or Kevin bowl. I have my hands on my hips, just like kind of watching. And I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, now Wizard would get a little feisty sometimes, and he would try to put you in full Nelsons.
Yeah.
That was his thing. Like every now and then, he'll be a little fucking giddy.
You
And
know, Vince was like that, by the way. He'd try to come up behind people and try to fucking get him legitimately.
Really?
There's been many times he would come up behind me and bump me, and I'd turn around like fucking pissed. And
Really?
And I know Titus O'Neil took it too far and like would come and tackle him sometimes. Something like, but he was like that too. They didn't fucking like minds think alike. Jesus Christ.
maybe they have a lot in common. So I'm standing there with my hands on my hips, and all of a sudden I see these
Headline: Vince loves full Nelsons.
If someone did that, that would make my day.
Yeah.
I see these 2 decrepit hands come out through underneath my armpits like this, like he's sneaking to do a full Nelson.
Are there scabs on his hands too, or no?
No, but there's like pictures just standing there. I'm just watching, you know, Matthews or my girlfriend bowl at the time, and like I just see these hands come through.
Yeah.
And there's fucking kids everywhere.
I picture him
teenagers.
too being like really creepy and slow and not knowing to like be explosive if he's really trying to put it on you.
Yeah, and he's like,
He wants to kind of rub up against you probably as he's putting it on.
He just wants to put on that full Nelson, like, because that's his thing. He's like, yeah. And I turn around, I see that giddy look in his face, like, and I'm looking around, and there's fucking people here, and they're looking at us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm so fucking mad. I'm like, all right, if I punch him in the face right now, this will be really bad.
Yep.
Like, he'll die. So instead, I go, I'm going to punch him as hard as I can in the chest. So I wind back, and I punch him.
You heart punched him.
Heart punched him. That's what he...
Goldust was known to do that in battle royals, by the way, in a working way, obviously, which always popped me.
No,
he would fucking heart punch and just you go down holding your chest. Goldust is one of my favorite people, by the way, entertainment wise.
This was not a worked
Does a great
heart
big
punch.
guy.
Hard as I could, I punch him in his chest, and he just goes, ugh, and he's mad. No role play, no nothing, and he just fucking frowns and like. Angry, and I'm pretty sure he went home after that.
Yeah.
And he's kind of, and I'm like, that's it.
You had to set the tone for that moment, though, because if you didn't, then he gets away thinking he can get away doing things.
So in my head, I
similar story.
also think that, you know what, the full Nelson money run is over, and that's it. Whatever, I don't give a fuck. Don't be a creepy weirdo and put a full Nelson when there's like fucking teenagers and kids and normal people around. But this is how fucking sick and perverted
Mine
it is.
doesn't work like a regular mind.
He gets home, and then he twists it, and then he writes me online like, your heart punch is so strong, and sends me a Facebook message. But that was, I don't know how the fuck we got to that, but...
There was a moment, I love Hornswoggle. Like I told you, like he's...
I love him too. I talk to him a lot now.
He'll Voxer me occasionally, and I'll Voxer him. And I was never a guy who was never around him a lot up there, but we had a few moments, and I posted the pictures with me and like Ziggler holding his hand, and like he's always, but he's you could tell like there's serious Swoggle, and then there's when he's like, you know, being a gimmick kind and stuff. When he's serious is when I really like him.
Yeah,
because he though he would fuck around sometimes. He did something in the locker room once, and like we would always kind of like. He'd be like, come here. And like, it was a little thing with us, and he'd like give me a little slap on the cheek. And it was like.
He would do that?
Yeah, but we like, it was all in good fun.
Yeah.
And nobody would ever be around. It was kind of like, you know how you develop little things with different guys?
Yeah.
Like me and certain guys have certain handshakes. And then like, that was like a thing with us. He's like, come here. And like, Big Monster Ryback and Little Hornswoggle, he'd do a little slap on the cheek, and he'd say something smart ass or something. Well, one time in the locker room, he did something, and he slapped me. And he did it not hard, but he did it a little too much in front of everybody, and I had to turn around and fucking whack him and fucking put him in his place, and it killed me. It broke my heart to have to do it, but I had to and he never ever again but you can't
Never bullied you again.
Yeah, I never. By the way, Daniel Bryan, who is till this day, he always thoroughly entertains me. He used to do a thing where he will come up behind a guy and grab you by the hips, and he's like, I'm dominating you, I got you. He's just holding your hips, but he'd really latch onto your hips. And so one day I'm walking, and we're in Dallas. I'll never forget it. And Pat Patterson is standing against the wall, and Daniel Bryan comes up, but I don't see Pat because I'm still walking. Pat's down down a little further, and Dan comes up behind me and grabs me by the hips, and he goes, "I got you." And he did this to me all the time, and they're just sometimes get the fuck off, and other times where you go along with it.
Yeah.
So this time, and I was in a good mood, and so I start getting up down the hallway with him on my hips, legitimately slap the ass, giddy up, and we go right by Pat Patterson, and we get past and we look and stop, and we both kind of thought the same thing and look, and Pat's just staring at both of us, and then I turn around and laugh. I couldn't stop laughing, and I was just of all the fucking moments for that to ever happen. But Dan probably saw Pat from a distance and realized, oh, this would be fucking money. He's good like that. So that to this day is one of my favorite moments with Dan.
Well, this episode's been all over the place.
Sorry, I coughed. No, that's. I think I like that about it because we talk about one thing from the next and we keep it flowing. We talked about that. What do you want to talk about? I go, let's just the first one, shoot the shit and just talk. And we'll get into the important stuff when we get into the important stuff. But with the Feed Me More Nutrition, what I was telling you
that's what we're going back to.
This is something, and I told you, just something I'm so passionate about. And there's some good supplements out there, and there's some decent companies out there. But for the most part, and the name of the game is making money across the board for everything in life.
Yes.
But I feel the best thing that you could ever do is do something that does make you money, but also provides a valuable service that you're passionate about. And that's what this is for me. And it's all stuff that I've been doing. And you've seen, I've had all these supplements for years, and I tell people, they see me and through my WWE career, and they just assume that I was this big roided up monster and this and that, and supplements have played a valuable role in my life and enhanced my life and allowed me to have the results that I've had. They have played a part with a proper diet, nutrition, and workout regimen. Yeah. So I've created all of this, and I was going to initially, everything was going to be through feedmemore.com and let it grow naturally.
What do you mean by that? You're actually going to send...
I was going to with everything with the website now I'm in control of. And
because you've been very indie wrestling in a sense where you're setting out your T-shirts, you're doing all of it.
Yeah, I show up with my whole bag of merch, and I have that all. I get everything all set up, and I treat every show very importantly. And whether I sell $200 in merch, $500 in merch, it doesn't I bring my stuff with me, and it's just a mindset. It's just you're better off having this stuff than not having it, because not having it creates laziness, and I fucking hate laziness. And for me, it's you have to be all in. And this supplement thing, I didn't think that it was gonna get worldwide distribution right off the bat, and not that I was limiting myself. I just assumed that I had to take control and get word of mouth out there on my own.
That you'd have to prove yourself first.
Yeah, because there's so much. It's an overflooded market already. But there's been such interest in multiple distributors where I've already had meetings, and next week hopefully we'll finalize a couple of those meetings where Feed Me More Nutrition will be available worldwide. Every supplement store, or as far as the different, every company has different. Every distributor uses different companies, but for me, I want this in every single store. Yeah, and it is the products; they are that good, and people are going to see. And that was one of the things when I started this. I go, even if sales start off slow, I go, just watch. I go, they are superior to every other product out there. I go, over time, I will have lifelong customers, not people buying 1 or 2 bottles and never trying it again. It is the protein, grass-fed whey protein isolate is superior to anything I've ever had. Enhanced with prebiotics, chocolate, vanilla, cookies, and cream. I can sit there and drink it, and I physically enjoy it. you know, have you ever had proteins that you taste that are just like
all the time?
Yeah. There's so many out there. They're garbage. Like this company that I'm working with produces nothing but the highest quality supplements. And I've told you, so I put the money into this up front, where a lot of companies will try to get something made for as cheap as possible to turn around and make huge margins on it, on the profits. I'm going to cut into my profit margins a little bit on this because I'm producing high quality formulas and stuff, but it's worth it to me because it's, one, helping people. It's stuff that I take, and I'm in this for the long run and for the long haul. So it's December's going to be a very, very good month, and
I
I'm
think
more
you
than
have to
excited.
explain more. I mean, maybe on the next episode, but even like, I feel like for the guys that listen to us, like they understand. You know, there's a lot of people listening that have never had protein powder. Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't know the very basics. Like, I'm just stealing what you've put in my head with the aspartame and sucralose.
Yeah.
Like, I switched to Zevia soda, but I feel like us talking a lot about that maybe kind of completely over a lot of people's head. I think almost like another episode where we break down like just kind of what you're up to and why you're up to it.
I've always been very health conscious, and that's a state of mind, and you have to. I think for people, we just assume because something is sold in stores that it's okay for us.
And
that's not true at all.
No.
The world revolves around making money. Aspartame and sucralose, people are making so much money off of those two chemicals. They don't want those to go away.
Well, I mean, like before you even say that, like people understanding, because there's a lot of people that just like. There's a lot wrestling fans too has a lot of overweight, unhealthy people, fans, whatever, and they're used to their, you know, what dare I say, regular sodas.
Yeah,
they're high sugars or high carbohydrates. You know, they'll go to McDonald's, fries, burgers, Coke. They'll do whatever, and then there's people that go, hey, you know what? And and correct me if I'm wrong. If you have like a soda, a regular soda. It's packed with sugar, which will lead to an insulin spike and leads you to hold on to fat.
It's empty calories essentially, and it just stores body fat on you.
And people that have diet soda, they think they're doing the health conscious thing by not doing that, and which is correct, and that's true. Like they're not
getting the calories necessarily, but a lot of those
doing?
things, the diet sodas with the aspartame and sucralose will actually trigger sugar cravings. So where you want. Like I remember, this is a very true example. On the road, after I'd stopped aspartame and sucralose, every once in a while on the road, if I didn't want an unsweet tea or something, when I'd go to McDonald's and get grilled chicken salads or something, I would get like a large diet soda every once in a while, just once in a blue moon, because there were no Whole Food stores open at 1 in the morning, and you just wanted a diet soda. And I would notice the next day I always craved ice cream.
Really?
Yeah. All the time, and I'm like, I don't eat ice cream. Why am I craving this like this? And it's just that stuff. It does something, and it's not good for you. And I talked about the symptoms before of, when I stopped aspartame and sucralose, I quit waking up. When I used to consume that stuff, I was consuming it at such a rate, I would wake up like a zombie. No matter whether I got 6, 7, 8, 9 hours sleep, I would wake up in the mornings and not want to get out of bed. And as soon as I stopped that stuff, I would wake up before my alarm or when my alarm hit and get right out of bed.
Wow.
And not want to go back to bed.
And also, aren't there studies? Because, I mean, didn't sucralose and aspartame come from a chemical originally called saccharin?
Yeah.
And I've heard that, like, saccharin was, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but, like, legit proven to cause cancer in rats.
Yeah.
Like, legit.
All that stuff. There's study after study showing that it is not ideal for humans. But like I said, everything revolves around money.
Which is what makes your stuff different, because a lot of these protein powders, these pre-workouts, are just loaded with this stuff.
Loaded, Chuck, because one, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's cheap. And now stevia is a proven safe alternative. A plant-based.
That's what you're going with. Like,
yes.
There's a new thing that's like, I don't want to say new, but like,
it's been around for the people that have been in the health conscious community.
Yeah.
But it's now more mainstream now.
But companies are still trying to fight it off because, they're making their money with aspartame and sucralose.
It's a huge problem right now because because then they're going to have to come out and say, oh, this stuff is bad for you.
Yeah.
They don't want to do that.
No.
Because there'll be a huge backlash from the community of, wait, you've been selling us shit for this, like. And that's where it's just a state of mind on, like, that's what I talk about, like, in the book, and like, it's just raising awareness. We have to be responsible for ourselves. Nobody else is responsible for us. And we talked about this before with the presidency and all that stuff. Like, control yourself, control your household, control your family. No, we can't control everything else. We can only control ourselves and what we put into our bodies, and we have to educate ourselves. We can't rely on anybody else to tell us something's okay for us. We have to do our homework, and we have to
do your research. Yeah.
Do your research, and it takes fucking time and fucking effort. But if you care about your life, you'll do it,
and you'll get better results. I mean, I gotta personally like I told you 3 weeks ago, I kicked my the big guy sneaking a beer in. I never thought I could kick like diet. I'm okay with. I'm not great with. But like compared to a normal human being, I'm pretty decent. 5 days, very good. 2 days, I'll have pizza, or I like to go for a meal. However, diet soda was like my one thing. Like I was like,
I remember you told me that.
I couldn't quit it, man. And like
it was hard for me.
You just kept talking about these Zevia sodas. I'm like, whatever. I
love them.
I finally fucking ordered. I got them from Whole Foods. I got a cream soda one and a regular the regular cola one.
Yep, the regular cola.
I'll never drink diet soda again.
Yeah.
I now have a 24-pack coming to my house every single month.
I get them every week.
Dude, every week?
Every week.
And like I'm just like, holy shit. Like I'm looking at every nutrition label. And I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
And I've also noticed I don't know if it's just a placebo effect, but I've noticed my stomach area.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm holding less, and it's actually gone down quite
those
a bit.
Zevias don't have any of the colorings in them. They're clear sodas, and they don't have the caramel color, and they have.
And they taste fucking good.
They're great, especially when they taste best cold. Obviously, no soda tastes good warm, but like anybody like Vitamin Water Zero is another one that uses a stevia sweetener.
It's pretty fucking good.
You just have to sometimes when you first taste it, it might taste a little different, but you will then. It's like the first time you have a diet soda. I think all of us are like, "What the hell is this?" And like, but you develop a taste for it eventually.
It's the same with anything. I remember having my first beer. I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yeah,
and
as a
wine
kid, and like,
too.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, I hate this. And now I'm an alcoholic. So
well, I remember when I was a kid, and I always see my dad with a Coors Light, and I think the parents were in the living room. They had guests over, and they had beers over, and they wouldn't keep them in the fridge unless like they were having a get together or something. Mm-hmm. And I remember I went in there with my sister, and like we cracked open a beer and like took a sip, and we're like, "Oh, this is disgusting." But I think if we would have known like it gets you buzzed, like like then we would have drank it with a different reason, but which wouldn't not necessarily been a good thing, but.
So there's one fan that says, please stop saying the time on the podcast. But for that fan, we're 50 minutes in. And I think
we're 50 minutes in?
Yeah, dude. We talked about a little this, a little that. I shout out to, I call him Shining Wizards Eddie. He edits our podcast and makes a nice
Thank you, Eddie.
Makes a nice little label for us so we know at least what these episodes are about. I'll plug WrestlePro online. I'll do the reads off the show. You'll start doing them soon too. But I mean, like,
I got the podcast equipment coming in. You got me that nice gift, and I got to go buy the microphone.
Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
Young,
35 years old, years young, I should say. I got a lot of great things coming up, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I feel like too.
I could not wrestle for 15 years and go back and still make it.
Oh boy, fuck. We could do a whole podcast on that. Not to be negative on that, but like,
I have no need to be negative on anything anymore.
But it's almost like Crazy Town. Like, man, I remember years ago when the entire wrestling world hated this match, and then we're supposed to be like, we wanted this. Let's just wrap this up here. WrestlePro.
I'll wish them the best.
Good luck, guys. Hope they tear the house down.
It'll happen the day. This will be airing the day after. So
yeah, I'm sure it'll be a hell of an event.
You had a hell of a tan last week.
Yeah, great tan. I have my quick tan on right now, actually.
I hate that stuff. I'll tan like once or twice a week, regular tan.
Yeah, when you're ginger blood, I need a mix of both.
That's right. Yeah, you gotta. I get it.
Buck Never Stops on Twitter and all platforms.
FeedMeMore.com. Feed Me More Nutrition launching in December. At Ryback22 on Twitter. Ryback247 on Snapchat, and the Big Guy Ryback22 on Instagram. You have just listened to a conversation with the Big Guy. Thank you.